Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910.
Seventh heaven. That's right, Oilers fans. You're hearing me correct. Jason Strudwick. The Oilers are going to Game 7 on Monday night on the back of a 5-1 win in front of a crazy crowd, a fired-up city, and a lot of good times in homes. Incredible night by the Oilers. 5-1 going to Game 7. I'm at home in my long shot studio. All Oilers game nights during the playoffs are all-you-can-eat wings, $25 a person. Some conditions apply. Visit Long Shots, Sherwood Park. 5-1, Oilers win. And it was a team win. What if I told you yesterday that the Oilers would win Game 6 and Connor McDavid wouldn't get 1 point? And that Leon Draisaitl would only get 1? Incredible. Incredible to see that happen. And the shots would be the same. I think they were both 21. So absolutely incredible team effort by this Oilers group. We've got tons of things to get to tonight. We got Schauger on the other side. We've got Rob Brown. We've got Zuby with us. And we've got you. Tell a friend. Tell a whole bunch what's going on here. We're having a great time tonight talking about and celebrating this Game 6 win. We'll do that on our pod, brought to you by Sherwood Park GMC. Sherwood Buick GMC, I should say. To celebrate the Oilers make it to Game 7, they're offering an incredible deal on their Sierra 1500s. Get ready to drive away with the best deal in town. We released the new 2024 Sierra 1500 for just $450 per month for 24 months at 4.9%. Visit the crew at 10 Auto Mile Road or online at www.gmcpod.com. Let's welcome in my main man, Schauger. And Shaggy, I 5-1, the Oilers win it, but this story that the Oilers are writing, and I don't want to get too misty-eyed like I'm sure a lot of fans are, but, just eight months ago, they were tied for last or second last in the league, whatever it was. Now it's winner takes all Game 7 after being down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Final. It is an incredible story that could be written if finished off Monday night in Game 7.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, it's history. We're witnessing history. I mean, we already are, regardless of whether the Oilers win Game 7 or not. What they've done here is, basically never happened. So, yeah, buddy, this has been an incredible ride. And, I mean, me, I don't cheer. It's not like that for me. But I love great stories. I love great stories, and this is an absolutely phenomenal story. So, I also have to add, just as somebody that's from this area, buddy, these are our people. We love our people here. Being in that building tonight was absolutely unbelievable. Oiler fans are incredible. And every market in the NHL will say, our team has the best fans in the league, right? Everybody says it. I'm telling you, Oiler fan, that is you. And I have been to Stanley Cup Finals in a pile of different cities, in a pile of different championship cities over the last 18, 19 years. And it has never been like it is here. Never. So, I mean, it's rare, Struddy. It's amazing. And for the fans to start a Sergei chant and then immediately transition that into blaring out the Star Spangled Banner and then belting out "O Canada" loud enough that you could not even hear the anthem singer when he was singing it. I have never heard it so loud that you drown out the anthem singer. It was phenomenal. And just, I don't know, man, this weird sense of pride sitting up there watching this going, yeah, these actually are the best fans. It's actually, they are. It's unreal. So just got to take a minute and give a lot of love and appreciation to Oiler fans because we're from here. And while I'm a reporter and I don't cheer, this is really cool for this fan base to be able to be part of.
It's incredible. And you can feel the energy across the city. We had a bunch of people over to our house watching it, and every goal, every save, every hit, every moment was enjoyed, right? And just cherished, because it's a lot of fun. So let's get to it. Let's get to break down this 5-1 Oiler win, brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store in Edmonton, founded in 1939, just off of White Avenue and 102nd Street. Mr. Dirk, formerly Dirks, has everything you need from formal to casual wear. They can also do customs and have in-house tailoring. Visit mrdirk.com. Tonight they win 5-1. The last 3 games, the Oilers have outscored Florida 18-5 in the Stanley Cup Finals against a team that everyone talked about. The team, the goaltending, the depth, the way they play, defend. 18-5. Rishaug. They've outscored this team. And it really is mind-blowing that this just to take a step back and look at what's happened the last 3 games.
Yeah. How many empty netters? 3? Are there 3 empty netters in there? I mean, even with the goalies in, it's still a staggering number. They have really flipped the script on this. And Struds, you were making the point earlier in these playoffs, and you talked about how it takes Chris Knobloch a little bit to figure out 2 things. 1, the formula with his lines, and 2, the adjustments in the style of play at game plan. But each of the series, they have made adjustments on both of those fronts, and those adjustments have continued to work. And once they make those adjustments, the series shifts their way, and it kind of doesn't go back. It was a little later in the Vancouver series. We saw it in Dallas when the switch was flipped. We're seeing it in this series. Tactically, they're making great decisions, style of play-wise, and again, the tweaks with their lineups. Like, buddy, I was absolutely sitting up in the press box, and the game starts, and I'm like, why is Nugent Hopkins and Foegele flip-flopped? Like, why did he do that? They've just won the last 2 games. Leon Draisaitl talked today about needing to get off the schneid offensively. So what does he do? He takes Nugent Hopkins away from him, and then Foegele scores the first goal, and the line change works immediately. Like, what the heck, man? Just really impressive. And just his touch is really something, Struds, and we saw it tonight on multiple occasions.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to mention, is that he did make that switch. So if you didn't see the game, Nugent Hopkins, who had been with Leon Draisaitl, has moved up and flip-flopped with Foegele. And my eyes jumped out of my sockets as well. I'm like, what is going on here? I can't believe it. But Leon gets that puck, and he takes complete control. And Leon was, I thought Leon, if it wasn't his best game of the Stanley Cup Finals, it was right up there. He was skating, and when he's skating, he's charging. It looks like he's skating downhill, and he got that puck, got it up into the offense zone, gets the puck over the blue line. Holloway drives the net, which you're supposed to do. Foegele gets tripped up by, I think it was Montour, gets back up and is watching a Draisaitl the whole time, pass to him. Great shot, one-timer by Foegele, same side one-timer, by the way. And I mean, there's a guy that Foegele, you need that guy to score. It helps when he scores. But more importantly, you got Leon Draisaitl setting up his wingers that maybe aren't, A-plus wingers. But it makes it
Why do you
think
he did that, Struds? Why do you think he made the change? You got a matchup thing? Why?
Honestly, I could not imagine, because it was working well. You've won 2 games in a row, and then all of a sudden you switch it up. I have no idea, and I've been racking my brains as I was watching the game.
Yeah, do you want to hear the clip? The coach, I thought he laid it out pretty clearly why he made the change.
Okay, let's hear it.
Here's with Ryan's question.
Chris, you normally don't tweak a winning lineup. Just a very subtle tweak tonight. You flip-flop Nugent Hopkins and Foegele there. I mean, Foegele ends up getting the goal. Why did you decide to make that change for this game?
I don't know. Probably we write up our lineup every day, and I don't know. Probably got the numbers mixed up. I don't know.
Come on now.
What a piece of work! Like, I think it has to do with matchup, Struds. I think they were planning on having the Draisaitl line and the Henrique line maybe against Barkov when they could, and maybe for some reason Foegele is, better in the matchup or something. It's clearly something very tactical. But between that and their call on the review, and we can get into that, buddy, because what a turning point. But just, once again, like, really impressive touch.
It is. And I think what I want to do is I want to go through the goals. The first two goals, we did the first goal, do the second goal, and then we'll get into the review. Because to me, those are huge moments, huge moments. So the second goal, it's a 2-on-1, and Henrique finds a way to get to the back of the net. Great shot by him, and Henrique comes through again. And I'm not here to toot my own horn, but this guy has been so important to this team.
Away, big guy, away.
Yeah. And he's I think I've done it enough. I think Zuby would agree. I've probably done it enough, but he has provided stability to that third line, and those two guys are flourishing, and he is as well, and they're contributing, getting goals and scoring. I think that's Henrique's second goal in the Stanley Cup Final. So that trade is looking really good, and he's really helping. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but I just it's got to be said, Henrique and his influence on this lineup has been humongous.
Yeah, well, my thought on that is that the depth that they've put in place, while there were many times during the regular season and even in these playoffs where it was like they just don't have enough, guys just aren't pushing, and there's not enough. And there were many times when Oilers fans were feeling that way, and rightfully so. That depth that Ken Holland assembled, when it matters the most, have elevated their game, and they have been massive. So a third line that 3 critical games in a row has made a stunning contribution. Yeah. And then, by the way, they're all the best penalty killers too. Like, just so incredibly impressive that they are at even strength, moving the needle the way they are, and then part of an absolutely stunning penalty kill. And that's the only word you can use to describe. It is stunning, the numbers these guys have put up on the kill.
So chronologically, then I believe right after that, the Florida Panthers score a goal.
10 seconds.
And 10 seconds after. And so if you didn't see, it was just off the rush. And, as I watched it, I'm like, this might be offside. Now, I can't say it was massively offside, but it might be offside. Then, they start showing replays. Everyone's taking a look. And, with taking quite a bit of time, it looked like Knobloch was uncertain. He finally decides, yes, I'm going to challenge it. And it is challenged and it's overturned. Massive, massive, massive moment in this game. I'm not going to say that's a turning point, but it was a massive point, because if they score and he challenges and it doesn't get overturned, now Florida's on the power play and they're running downhill, Sugar.
Sorry, I think that was a turning point, bud. Like, I actually am employed by TSN, so I think I am allowed to, declare something as a TSN turning point. I'm going to go ahead and declare that as a TSN turning point. What an incredible swing in the game. Here's the thing. Like, Paul Maurice after the game in his press conference said, given the looks we had, I would have never challenged that. So he admitted that all the looks came through, and he said, I would not have challenged that. He said the linesman told him that it was the last look they got that they overturned it on. So that makes it even more impressive that Knobloch and his staff, Noah Siegel, were on it in that way, because it was not obvious at all. And it takes guts. You have 30 seconds. You got to make that determination. And with everything that's at risk, it could be a 2-goal swing. But Struds, part of the reason why they had the guts to make that call, when your penalty kill is as baller as the Oilers is, you're like, we'll challenge that, sure. And if it's wrong, they'll kill it off.
Yeah, well said. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Dennis and the team at Weiss Johnson are giving away a free 16-series air conditioner when the Oilers win the Cup. Enter now at weissjohnson.com. Today, hit the Contact Us button, tell them who your favorite Edmonton Oiler is, and you'll be entered into a draw to a brand new air conditioner from Weiss Johnson. So let's hear it. Always surprised me, Zub. Nice work. Let's hear now from Zach Hyman. And Zachary Hyman is talking about how important the review was. Hit it.
Unbelievable job by Noah and the guys to relay that to the coaching staff, and on the bench, and huge moment in the game, obviously. Like, just a massive, we score literally like maybe 10 seconds later or less than that, they score, and then that gets called back and it stays 2-0, so huge.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Huge moment. And you're probably right, Shogger. It is probably the turning point. And then towards the end of that period, Florida's got they're putting some pressure on, and, there's a block, and all of a sudden Hyman is off to the races, and Hyman gets a breakaway. It shows great speed from his own blue line, passes a couple Panthers. And it's interesting. I don't know if you noticed, he used the same move that Connor Brown used. He went a little bit from his right to his backhand and around, and kind of got it just under the arm between the pads of Bob Bobrovsky, and scores a 3-0 goal. That's with 18:20 left. About 1:40 left in the second period.
Sorry, we're just reconnecting Shogger here.
Okay.
Studs.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So no problem. And that was just it. So I was just talking about how big of a moment that was with Zach Hyman scoring on that breakaway. That was absolutely humongous. So now the Oilers cruise into the third period with a 3-0 lead. And I honestly, I'd almost say that was the final straw. Now I know there was other things that happened, but that was a huge goal, a huge moment for Zach Hyman leading the playoffs and scoring.
Yeah, and you could tell by his celebration, right? Like, Zach Hyman was some kind of fired up in that celebration, and you could tell he knew how huge that moment was. He knew what that goal meant. I mean, that put the Panthers in a top spot. So that was amazing. Stu Skinner with a save at one end of the ice, right? I think there was a save on a 2-on-1, and there was another save before that goal. Like, after Florida pushed back and got that goal called back, Skinner had to make a couple of pretty critical ones. And I know he didn't get a lot of action in there, Struddy, but that, to me, there were a few key saves in there that sort of preceded that Hyman goal. And then when Zach Hyman got that goal, man, and he did the initial celebration and then a follow-up celebration after, and you could see the energy and the excitement, and that was really something.
Yeah, it was humongous, and Zach has scored a lot of goals. I'd say he did more of the scoring earlier in the playoffs. And, I think he's got 2 this series. But that was a legit goal. And for him, we don't see him score a lot of goals like that. We're not used to see him actually, make a move. And I'm not being disrespectful. You usually see like he's around the net, rebounds, tipping, all that type of stuff. But so I love seeing him kind of scoring in a non-Hyman way, in a huge moment in the playoffs to kind of help his team get not an insurmountable lead at that time. But I mean, 3-0 going to the third, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
How many times has Bobrovsky been beaten with that move on a breakaway? Like, I feel like Holloway beat him to the backhand. I feel like, was it Janmark that beat him? Like, that deke to the backhand.
Brown
I feel like
him.
we've seen it at least 3 times in this series, maybe 4.
Yeah, Brown's done it. Yeah, no, it's been crazy. So then just to kind of finish off the goals, they go into the third period. Barkov scores a beautiful goal. And then, Florida's kind of pushing the Oilers. So my thought here is 3-1 early in the third period. But what I thought the Oilers, they spent some time in their zone, but it wasn't panic. I didn't get the sense it was panic. I thought they did a good job kind of protecting the middle of the ice. Florida's more on the outside. And they had some chances, but it wasn't like a 5-alarm chance every shift, Shogger.
For sure. No, I like the Oilers' ability to defend and to keep things calm under pressure. I mean, we saw them do it last game. They bent against Florida, but they did not break. And we saw moments in this game where they did the same thing. I mean, we talk about all these goals that the Oilers are piling in here, Struddy, but the strength of this, the strength of where they are and why they're there right now is much more rooted in their commitment to the defensive arts in the game. I consider the penalty kill to be one of those defensive skills. They're entirely committed to it. They're completely dominant at it, and it has been unreal. But the way they're willing to defend, the way guys are blocking shots and getting sticks in lanes, like Leon Draisaitl tonight, he had the early play, got the, helped generate the goal. That was great. If you watch the way Leon Draisaitl defended tonight, Struds, there was one shift where he was on the backtrack, defending in his own zone, and the stops and starts, right? What does Leon normally do? He'll look over his shoulder and he'll swing. He must have stopped and started 4 times in one little sequence of defending. You know that Leon Draisaitl's dialed in when he's stopping and starting in the defensive zone to defend. And it's right through the lineup. McDavid with a great back check and broke up a play right in the middle of the crease. Like, the strength of this group being where they are right now is rooted in their commitment to the defensive side, to me, every bit as much as the numbers and goals they've put up.
And what when you look at this game tonight, the goal scorers, I talked about it earlier. There was no Connor McDavid. There was no McDavid or no Leon scoring. It's Henrique, it's Foegele, it's Hyman, who has scored a lot, McLeod and Nurse. So, something that was continuously brought up by, my members of the media, including ourselves, was maybe the depth. What's the depth going to look like? How's that going to look? I think the depth has stepped up really well. Obviously, the penalty kill is a huge part of that. I'll keep hammering this point home. Giving those guys a role and a job empowers them to be really good at that. Then the rest of their game feels better. And the depth scoring has been incredible in this. Almost as the playoffs have gone on, it's gotten better as the defense gotten tighter around some of the top players for the Oilers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and they deserve a lot of credit, man. Like, Philip Broberg to be doing what he's doing. I mean, Philip Broberg is, what would you say, Struds? Is he, like, could you argue that he's been their third best defenseman on a lot of nights in this series since he came in? Certainly their third or fourth. Like, he has been excellent in taking minutes. And this is the Stanley Cup Final, and this guy's still establishing himself as a full-time NHL player. And he's doing a great job with it. CC had a few tough moments tonight for sure, but on the whole, again, they deserve so much credit for the way they're defending as a group. Darnell Nurse, I thought one of the things they did a great job of, in particular early in this game, like, Florida wants to ramp up that forecheck, right? That's when they've had the most success in this series, is ramping up the forecheck. The Oilers did such a great job tonight when Florida was making the D-turn and go back and get it. There were these tiny little outlet passes up the wall, and then the Oilers were chipping it to the middle of the ice because they knew they had support. The number of times there was a play off the wall to the middle to a supporting player, and that resulted in a zone exit. Their numbers on zone exits and entries in the offensive zone tonight were off the charts because they played so connected. And that was clearly the plan. They're sealing the walls, get support there, little chip to the middle. I can only think of one they screwed up badly that ended up in a turnover and a chance the other way because it's risky to go to the middle. But that's defending, Struds. Being excellent on the breakout and those little plays and being connected, that's every much defending as knocking a puck off someone's stick.
Yeah, and so what the wingers are doing, I thought a really good job, is they were sealing off that D-man, so trying to shield the puck with their body, so they had a little second to make a play, that bump back play. Or just get it out. So it was, I mean, it's hard. There are going to be mistakes in those situations. Like, let's just call it what it is. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, but the more you keep doing the right thing, the less chance to have on the other side. Okay, great numbers here. People tuning in. I really appreciate everyone. We appreciate everyone coming in. If you're listening on the YouTube, jump on and hit the thumbs up button for us. Just give us a little bit of loving there. Rob Brown will join us in a little bit, but right now, why don't we do the poll? The YouTube poll brought to you by De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. We're kind of producing this thing on the fly. I'm just pulling up to the house. So why don't I bounce off? You guys do the poll, do Relentless Player, go to the break, and then hopefully I'll be up and running in the home studio, and we'll catch up in a couple of minutes.
Okay, buddy. You got it. Schauger out. Okay, let's get to the De Boer's YouTube poll. Aiming to help you play better golf with golf fitting, instruction, after sales support, and golf merchandise and clothing. Celebrating 25 years, check out the Pro Shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. And the great thing is, after a Monday night, we can all go golfing. We're going to have time to golf. So let's get in there and load up balls, bags, and clubs. What do you got for us tonight, Zoobs, on the poll, buddy?
Look at this. I'm in the big box early. That was another, someone did nickname me Big Box Zuby when I came up on another. Too many already. I appreciate all the love. Okay, so here's our question for tonight. The poll question is, who has impressed you most in the Stanley Cup Finals other than Connor McDavid. The choices are Stu Skinner. We lumped Henrik Brown Janmark together into one answer. That may be helpful to them there. Broberg Holloway, we put the rookies in there as their contributions have been solid as well. And the fourth choice is Coach Chris Knobloch. So, Struddy, where would you lean there on that poll? I think I know where you're going to lean, but let's.
Yeah, guys, I'm. This is a biased answer because I'm basically the reason why Henrik's on the team. Henrik, Brown, and Janmark. The third line was a massive question mark, for the season and then even into the playoffs. And now it's one of the strengths of the team. Who would have had that? Who would have thought that group would have become the third line to become one of the strengths of the team? And then it's been so huge. And then the fourth line, you've got real players in the fourth line that are really making an impact. And then Kane's not playing still. So I'm going to go with that. What do you see, Zoops?
It's hard not to lean that way, especially when, from episode 1 of this season, what have we been talking about? Is like, the top 6, we know what the top 6 is. What's the bottom 6 going to be? And when are they going to find, how many episodes have we had where we had to go back and talk again about, well, who's going to be the third line? And they find it in the final, and these guys just are making such a difference. And teams that win the cup, I mean, well, they haven't won anything yet, but teams that win the cup every year, you always talk about, for Tampa Bay, all those years that they were winning it, you were always talking about the impact that those guys made. And finally, after 90 whatever games, we're seeing it with the Oilers, and it's pretty cool. And it's a lot of fun, and man, what an impact they've had in the finals.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, guys. That third line, and that's, I feel like I'm being disrespectful to the others being Knobloch, Broberg Holloway, and Stu Skinner. But those three guys have had such an impact, changing energy, bringing energy to the group. It's just been incredible. So, so thank you. Keep those votes coming in. And like I said, if you're on the YouTube stream, hit the thumbs up button. Get us those thumbs up, the love button, as Shugger likes to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to our UCAN Youth Services Relentless Player of the Night, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth aged 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and get employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Oh, mama. There are lots of people here tonight that I think on the Oilers deserve it. I feel like I'm going after low-hanging fruit here. I'm going to go... I'll go Leon Draisaitl. Honestly, guys, like I thought he was skating so hard, and I may be wrong. Maybe there isn't somewhere off his legs. Again, I'm not an insider, so I had someone challenge me. How do you know Leon's knees or legs are sore? I'm just guessing. I can only go off what I'm seeing. I'm not an insider. I like to just say what I see and try to explain just a gut feeling. So the way he skated tonight, it didn't look like he has anything wrong with his lower body. He was skating. He was on the puck. And that first play was that was just, to me, purely on Draisaitl. Get the zone, slow things down, find someone open, slide it to him, boom, the guy taps it in. We'll go back to center. Let's get another one in 10 seconds, Zuby.
Yeah, it was such a great play. And there's a question, we'll maybe get to it a little bit later when we got you and Brownie about like how was he able to just turn it on? What changed for him? Or if he hasn't been loving his game, how was he able to do it? And that was an incredible play. And it was like vintage Leon with the, not a seeing eye pass, a perfect pass that Fogle managed to bury. So that was really cool.
Okay, let's do this. I think we've got Shogger back. So,
and good timing. We just hit 1,000. I'll see if I can bow out of here.
I love it. 1,000. Okay, well, Shogger, before you jump in, I'll sign us out here to go to break. When we come back, we'll do takeaways and keep those questions coming. We have there's lots of people on here that wanted answers. So we'll take a quick break, Shogger, when we come back and into takeaways.
The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
All right, welcome back to the live stream. Spectacular numbers, as Struddy was saying. Over 1,000. What a ride. What a ride it's been. And so happy that you're along for the ride, whether it's the live stream or listening in podcast form the next day. It's been fantastic. Love the way we've built this up. Over 1,000 people. Hit that like button if you get a couple of minutes. Let's get to takeaways. Brought to you by FG Promotions, your place for all corporate and team merchandise, from apparel, jerseys, gifts, and golf tournament prizes. Corporate customers even get personal discounts on golf gear for their employees. Top shelf quality, amazing customer service. Visit fgpromo.ca. Get 10% off your first order when you mention that Got Your Back sent ya. So, Struds, it was, according to Chris Johnston, it was a little bit of a morgue in that Florida room tonight. Pretty rattling, pretty jarring scenario for them. What do you think is going through their heads heading back to Florida for a Game 7 here, buddy? They have to be pretty rattled if they're human beings.
Yeah. So I've never played in this situation. Quite frankly, very few people on the planet ever have.
Yeah.
And up 3-0, and now they're going to a Game 7. I believe with each game that passed that they lost, the pressure gets higher because you don't want to be the team that loses it. And now, not do they have 3 nights sleep to think about what the opportunity they haven't been able to use or take advantage of. The opportunity being 3 chances to win a game. And in these games, they've lost 18-5 in the last 3 games. In series clinching games, they've been 18-5.
Yeah.
And you're right. You take away the empty net goals, let's say it's 14, 15-5, whatever. It has been complete opposite of what they want to do. So I do think right now, Florida, when they hit the ice, they'll be looking for something bad to happen. And they have to change that mindset. Whereas the Oilers are going on the ice, they're waiting for something good to happen. And I think that's the advantage Oilers have. And that is the thing that Florida has to change, because you have 3 sleeps. That would be the longest 3 sleeps of your life, waiting for this game, thinking, can we win it? Or are we going to be the first team in 80 some years to lose this bad boy?
So athletes need to be able to compartmentalize, to be able to shed it. They're human beings, so they're going to be disappointed tonight. I thought Paul Maurice's post-game comments were great. He was asked about kind of how he thinks his team is doing tonight, and he's like, doesn't really matter how they're doing tonight. Like, they're going to feel how they're going to feel. They just lost a tough game. We're not going to judge it. Like, it is what it is. Almost like everybody's just got to go through what they got to go through. And CJ said there was some real frustration down there. It was about 15, 20 minutes before their locker room opened, and some sticks banging and, lots going on down there. But is it going to be simple, Struddy, when they recover, wrapping their head around the idea that, hey, never mind what's happened to this point. We have 1 game on home ice to try and win a Stanley Cup. If you'd told us that at the start of the year, we'd have said, sure, we'll take that one. I mean, those are all the things that Oiler fan would be saying if things were reversed here. I mean, that's got to be the idea that they grab onto.
Well, both teams have the same thing. They have 1 chance to win the Stanley Cup. That the season's over. Monday at midnight, the season's over. But it's where you're coming from. The Panthers are coming from a place they're reeling, and the Oilers are rolling. There's a big difference there, right? There's a massive difference in those 2 things. If I'm Florida, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, Leon Draisaitl looks like he may have gotten some life. We have Connor McDavid, who's just tearing us apart 2 of the last 3 games. On the other side, you got Barkov, who that was a beautiful goal he scored.
Really nice, yeah.
So, he's kind of rolling. I didn't think that Sergei Bobrovsky, I didn't think he had a great game. I didn't think he had a bad game. I just think he looks average right now. which is not ideal if you're them. So you're trying to find parts of your game you like. Our power play hasn't scored in a while. Our penalty kill, it was actually pretty decent tonight. But, it's what are you clinging on to? What is the piece you're clinging on to? The Oilers' penalty kill literally brings them life. It drives life through the whole lineup. A penalty kill. If we would have told you that in September, that the Oilers' penalty kill will be the thing that feeds life, that is the fuel for this team, you'd be like, you're nuts. It's going to be the power play. It's the power play is going to get it doing or whatever. Doing a Michigan from behind the net. No, it doesn't. It is those guys that are getting it done. So I'm just wondering what the Panthers are going to, like, what do they hang their hat on? What do they say? This is who we are. This is what we're going to do. Because right now we haven't seen it the last 3 games.
Yeah. And I mean, like coming into this series, they beat some good teams. They beat some good players and some good teams. I mean, the Oilers did too. But I mean, the Oilers' path was an easier path to the Stanley Cup Final than what Florida had to come through. And then they had all kinds of rest, pretty healthy. That's one of the beautiful things about this series. And I know everybody's banged up to a degree, Struddy, but this is truly like power on power here. I mean, the Oilers are missing Evander Kane for sure. Now, that's the biggest name not in the series here. But this is what Florida has. They're throwing all of their experience, their best players, everything, the culmination of disappointment last year into lessons learned this year. They got by excellent teams. Like this is an exceptionally good team. And the Oilers just stayed alive, beating them 3 games in a row. This Oiler team, Struds, is deep. They are mentally tough. They have learned lessons. They're harnessing the difficulty of past mistakes. Like this team is built right and in a great spot.
They're in a great spot, right? And they have earned this trip to the Game 7. It hasn't been easy, and they haven't made it easy on themselves. Really look back. They have not made it easy. Think about where the season started, the change of coach, Vancouver, Dallas, everything is. But I think the one thing that we can all agree on that has changed it is Chris Knobloch. Chris Knobloch has changed this team. There is no doubt about it. And this is probably unfair to Jay Woodcroft. I don't know if Jay would have done it, but I know Chris has done this. He has done what he's done with this team and the changes he's made. And it's something that Brown and I talked about a long time. Everyone has to be involved. Everyone has to be involved. Everyone has to get going. And he's done that. So like I said, the Oilers are rolling and the Florida are reeling right now. And man, Monday night is going to feel like, a long time for the Oilers. And I think for Florida, they can't wait they can wait for it to be longer. They need to break this up.
Can we talk about accountability and what you think Leon Draisaitl's willingness to basically look squarely in the mirror and speak squarely into that microphone and indulge questions about why his game isn't good enough right now? So how much does it matter that he's willing to say, this isn't what I expect out of myself? I know I can be better than this. That's not easy. And I have to say, the way he was asked the question today, it would have been easy for him to dodge it before the game, Struds. It was kind of a lighter question, and he could have easily not engaged. He circled back in his answer and said, as for myself, and then was very honest about his game. Then a follow-up question about specifics, and he got into that a little bit. It's the 3rd time in the Stanley Cup Final that Draisaitl's engaged in this. And then he goes out and he makes something happen early. I thought he was very good defensively, as we discussed. But how about that accountability, Struds?
Yeah, I don't to his teammates. I don't think you need to be accountable. That's wrong. You don't have to admit that you need to be accountable to his teammates, right? That's the question asked by the media. This team has been through a lot together. Do you think at this point they don't know each other? They don't know, when someone feels like they should do more, or when someone's made a mistake, or when someone's done something great, or when someone's doing more than they need to. They know. They're a band of brothers in there that've been through a lot together. So I don't think Leon has to stand up in the room and say, hey guys, I got to be better. He's showing it, and maybe he mentions it in passing or something, but they know what he can do. And more importantly for him, he feels like he should be making a big dent in this series. That is, I think, where it comes from. It's more personally. And I think as a teammate, at times you need to go up and say, Leon, buddy, just keep going. It's going to come. Stay with us. We need you. But just stay, don't Don't put this all on you. We can do other things and other people are. We just need you to, just keep being who you are. And that's the message I would send to Leon instead of putting the world on their shoulders, which I think that for a lot of truth, Connor and Leon had that at the game one. They had the whole world on their shoulders trying to win the Stanley Cup in game number one.
Great moment post-game for Draisaitl too. Spec was like, Leon, you got to know all these commercial flights are killing us. Leon, it wasn't just funny that Leon said, I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't feel sorry for you. Like, I think he meant Spec specifically. And Spec, I think, enjoyed that as well. He had a good laugh. So Leon firing a fun little shot there tonight at the end of the game. We got Brownie. What's going on, buddy?
Hi, how are you guys?
How was your drive home? Mine was mayhem, the honking and insanity. It was still packed downtown when I got in the truck, buddy. What's it looking like out there now?
It's a busy night in Edmonton tonight, and we had a lot of phone calls on our show tonight.
Yeah,
people are pretty excited about what's going on here in Edmonton. It's funny. One of the questions we was asked. The very last one was actually, I think it was a gentleman from Australia called, said, would this be considered the greatest comeback ever or the biggest collapse ever? And to me, it's simple. If the Oilers win Game 7, this is the greatest comeback possibly in the history of sport. It is that big. It is that huge. And to me, that's the story you write on Tuesday morning about what the Edmonton Oilers have done over the last 7-8 days. And I don't know what you guys, if you've talked about it, but the flight home tomorrow for the Florida Panthers, that will be a long, soul-searching flight. And there will be a lot of what happened. How are we here? 6 days ago, we were ready to celebrate a Stanley Cup, and where is it gone? So it was a fun night. It's a fun night to be an Edmonton Oilers fan right now.
Yeah. Brownie, have you been through, I mean, there's nothing that can compare to this at all, but like just feeling something so slipping away from you, like just that helpless feeling of it slipping away.
Well, it's funny. The only thing that I've been through like this is it was in the minors in the Calder Cup. It was in Game 5. And if we won Game 5, we won the Calder Cup championship. If we lost, we had to go back and play back-to-back games in what was the Islanders? Bridgeport. So we were winning 3-0 late in the second period, going into the third, and all of a sudden we're going into overtime. They tied it 3-3. And I remember sitting in the dressing room like, okay, what happened? Like, we do not want to lose and go back to Bridgeport and play 2 games in their arena. So, I mean, it's nothing at this level, but it's just that feeling in your stomach, Strud. It's like, oh my God, what happened? I want to redo. Can I somehow rewind the last 2 periods or the last 5 days and do something all over again? And I think that's what right now the Florida Panthers want. They want to rewind because right now they are 1 60-minute game away from becoming a trivia question answer. And that's got to be a pretty scary and sad moment for them compared where they were about 7 days ago.
Yeah.
The first 3 games that time probably felt like for the Oilers it happened in an afternoon. And same with now that they're winning, things slow down a little bit. When you're in Florida and it's just you've lost these 3 games, like what the hell just happened? They're gonna wake up tomorrow and realize it's 3-3. Like it happens so fast. Like it's crazy in a series like this. And Brownie, I made the point earlier, and I think that Florida is reeling and the Oilers are rolling.
Yeah.
And waiting for something bad to happen for Florida, and the Oilers are waiting for something good to happen. Like it's the whole thing.
Watching the game, Struds, everything that the Oilers are doing is instinctive. Everything the Florida Panthers are doing is stop and think about it. And the power play is a great example. How many times did Verhaeghe have the puck on a stick where he got it on a stick and then decided to make a play? Where the Edmonton Oilers, bang, 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 they're moving the puck, and it went all through the game 5-on-5. That's just one example. But right now, the Oilers are feeling it, completely confident in their game. And the Florida Panthers are, okay, what do I do now? They're lost. Now, everything can change in one game. Bobrovsky's capable of winning a game. Barkov, who I thought was all-world tonight, he was fantastic. He could have a magical night. So it all can change in one night on Monday night, but going into that game, one team is going in completely confident in themselves, and the other one's going in with a lot of questions.
Definitely. When you hopped on, Brownie, Struddy was just finishing his comments on Leon Draisaitl, who had, a lot of accountability in his comments earlier today, expects more out of himself, goes out, makes a really nice play to get the game's first goal on the board. But then also I thought just played a really, really solid defensive game. So what did you make of kind of Draisaitl's day and his performance tonight on the heels of those comments?
Well, I had the expectation that he was going to have a good day after he called himself out. Most players, and Struds, I don't know if you were like it, but most players, when things aren't going right, you want to be invisible. You don't want anyone to notice. You just want, okay, I'll eventually come out of it. Hopefully no one sees or talks about me until things start going right for me. And then, okay, I'm back. But to call yourself out, you're just putting all eyes on you. Now, most of us, when we call ourselves out, we don't have the ability to go out there like, all right, switch is on. I'm going to be good tonight.
Flick.
Yeah, but Leon does. So I'm like, okay, Leon just called himself out. And he said, I'm going to welcome myself to the series tonight. And he did. And that was a huge goal because he forced the Florida Panthers to start chasing. And they're not a good chase team. The Oilers are a good leading team. So Leon Draisaitl was very good in this series. And in this game, that spells trouble for the Florida Panthers. They're 6 games into a series. They're going to game 7. The Oilers have won 3 times. And 2 of the Oilers' best players really just got noticed offensively tonight, Hyman and Leon. Now, if they start going with Connor McDavid going and a fantastic third line, the Florida Panthers, now they're getting it from 3 different sides when it comes to offense. And that makes it much tougher for Florida in game 7.
Yeah, Leon's definitely dealing with something too, guys. Like, he for sure is. There was that big collision in front of the Florida net. I'm not sure what the broadcast did or didn't show. I had the binoculars going big time, followed him all the way back. And, he's shaking the hand. Clearly the finger's bugging him. He's tugging on it. He had a chat with TD. TD immediately rang the doctor. The doctor came down to the bench. They had a conversation. The doctor disappeared, brought something back for Like, there's lots of stuff going on here with Leon Draisaitl.
Well, what the doctor,
what
the doctor brought back? He brought back that soccer spray. Because when you get sprayed with that soccer spray, everything goes away. You feel better. You jump off the stretcher. You run on the field. I agree. I think he's playing with something. He doesn't look like the dominant Leon that he normally is, but he's still, when things aren't going as good as you want on one end, you're still capable in the other. And I think Leon on defensive side of it has been fine. And I mean, it's hard to find any fault in anyone on this team right now because the way they played the last 3 games. But I think Leon offensively isn't where we usually see him, but still giving what the Oilers need in the other end. And a big reason the Oilers are now 3-3.
Zuby, we got some weird interference going on. Do we know what that is? Or is it just me hearing that?
I do hear it. It seems like it's coming from you.
From me?
Yeah, it's just a little ticking. Let me see.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, I don't know what's going on.
Hang on for a sec. I think you got it, actually, maybe just by moving your mic.
Okay, I won't move. I will just sit still here. Okay, we're going to get to Brownie Points and Struddy's World in our next segment. Brownie, quickly before we do that, though, can we just get a comment from you on Chris Knobloch's night? First of all, what did you think when you saw he'd flip-flop Nugent Hopkins and Fogle? I was confused. It worked. And then on the review.
Well, it's funny. I think it was you that I saw tweet or something earlier, and Connor McDavid had 8 points in his last 2 games with the line that he had, and then to flip-flop. But I've stopped questioning anything that Knobloch
it wasn't
does.
me. It wasn't my tweet.
Oh, okay. But I saw someone say that. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But everything seems to work for him. And he goes out and score. As for the review, I mean, that was so close. Like, in all honesty, I could not believe they overturned it from the angles I saw. But to me, it was an easy call for Chris Knobloch because he has faith in his penalty kill. The Florida Panthers are getting nothing done on their power play. So it's worth it. Even if you think it's a 50-50 coin flip, if they still get the goal and they get a power play, they ain't scoring on their power play anyways. So I think the fact that the Oilers penalty killing is so dominant made that call so much easier for Chris Knobloch. But it was still a good call, and that changed the game. It really changed the way the game went after that.
Brad Hunter says, it's weird listening to Brown on 630 Ched for all these years, then seeing his face for the first time tonight.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's nice.
I'm hoping he thinks I'm much better looking than I sounded.
Hey, Brownie, was anybody calling in, calling for Ken Holland to be fired tonight, or is that not happening as much anymore?
We haven't got a lot of those calls lately, nor have we gotten any calls saying that Stuart Skinner cannot win a Stanley Cup. So those were two of the biggest calls that we got for the longest time this year. No, we got only happy calls. A lot of European calls tonight. A lot of people calling from overseas, pretty excited. Call from Dallas. Big Dallas Star fan called tonight saying he's pulling for the Edmonton Oilers. So there's a lot of Oiler fans throughout the world.
The chat is not letting us down. Somebody in the chat, Struddy, has the handle Rally Scarf. And Rally Scarf says, "You all have great radio faces." Says Rally.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah, I was going to get Rally Scarf. Apparently, the Rally Scarf has become self-aware and got itself a.
It is now sentient.
Got itself in the chat. It started with the very first message. I do have it earmarked. Said, "Thank you, Struddy, for bringing me into existence." Rally Scarf has been very active on the chat.
Let's get a Twitter handle up and running there, Rally Scarf. Yeah. There's a Rishaug's receding hairline Twitter handle that people keep sending me stuff from. So let's get a Rally Scarf handle going too. All right. When we come back, Brownie Points and Struddy's World. Still tons of show ahead. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be right back. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
It didn't make any sense.
Hey-o! Time for Brownie Points. Brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. This Alberta-based family-owned business opened in 1962. Their beef jerky is out of this world. For the remainder of June, $99, 3 pounds of jerky with free shipping. How's that? 3 pounds for $99. I think that's around $33 a pound, if my math is right. Fast shipping anywhere in Alberta. Hop onto albertajerky.com to order yours and enter the code GOTYOURBACK, and you'll get even more off. Brownie?
Well, I got 28 brownie points for Connor Brown, who was the best Connor on the ice today. What a year this guy's had. Roller coaster. There was people calling our show in the first 10 games, cut him now so we don't have to pay his bonus.
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah, 100%.
We dealt with that too.
I cannot imagine. I don't know. Do the Edmonton Oilers make Game 7 without the third line here in this final series? I don't know if they do.
No.
That's how good they've been. Connor Brown's been a big part of that. 20 brownie points for Stuart Skinner making 20 saves. As we said earlier, I have not heard in the last 3 days one phone call saying that Stuart Skinner cannot win a Stanley Cup. He has been the better of the two goalies in this series after he outplayed Ottinger in the last series. I have 50 brownie points to the role players of the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight, goals scored by Foegele, McLeod, Henrique, The Edmonton Oilers are winning because their role players are outplaying the role players of the Florida Panthers. 37 Brownie points to Chris Knobloch, who decided to break up a line that just had 8 points in its last 2 games and separate Fogle from Connor McDavid, gave him to Leon, and lo and behold, there's a goal for Fogle early in this hockey game, which set the tone for a victory. So Knobloch again has the magic touch. And the last one, 7 magical Brownie points to the Edmonton Oilers team that found a way to win Game 6 of a must-win hockey game when 29 and 97 had a combined 1 assist in this hockey game. There's a reason the Oilers are going to Game 7. Connor McDavid's a big part. So is Leon. So is Nugent Hopkins. So is Hyman. But the Oilers now are playing for a Stanley Cup championship because they found players down in their lineup, role players who have stepped up in this playoff run that has given them a chance. So there's 7 magical Brownie points for Game 7 to the Edmonton Oilers, who are a team. They're not 2 players anymore. This is a true hockey team.
Struds, what do you think, bud?
I agree with everything you said. I think it's you can see it, like they don't care. They don't care about if they have to score, they don't score. It's just about getting the win. They don't care who scores, how it goes. They're happy to see other people do it, to support them, because they will have their nights. But it's nice when everyone else has their nights as well. And there was something like I forgot where I saw it, so I don't have credit, but 12 Oilers have 3 goals or more in the playoffs. Like, that's crazy. That's pretty damn good. That's really good for the Oil.
Gabriella C. Struds was so right. Knew all along that Henrique would be great. A great trade by the Oilers. Scored the big game-winning goal tonight from Gabriella C. Giving Struddy his Struddy love.
Smart players, Brownie, like smart players, you can't have enough smart players on your team. And I don't think he's the fastest. I don't think he has the best shot. I don't think he is like massive, but he's just smart. I want those guys on my team, Brownie. And am I over-evaluating or am I evaluating him incorrectly in your opinion?
No, 100%. Hockey IQ. He's got hockey IQ. Smart hockey players. And when you have a smart hockey player, you can play him anywhere. I'm going to put him on the power play. I'm going to put him on the penalty kill. I'm going to play him with Connor. I'm going to make him be on our third line because they can understand their role and they can fit in. Yeah. So Henrique is, again, and I know that you guys both agree, the Oilers aren't in Game 7 without this third line. That's how important they've been. The third line 5-on-5, as well as what they do with the penalty kill.
That's the ridiculous part. They've been so good 5-on-5. They've made such a difference. They're also their best penalty killers. Like, they're a huge part of that penalty kill. Shane Matheson in with Skinner now has more Stanley Cup Final points than Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner combined.
that one hurts. But just going back to that third line, I think the dynamic of that line is important because there's a lot of speed, or quite a bit of speed on the wings. Support. And again, I don't want to make it sound like Henrique's slow, but he's not a speed demon like maybe Connor McDavid, but he's a line is chemistry. It don't have to be the same type of players, but you all have to have your role and understand and work together. And I think there's chemistry there. Like that line, it actually, in some ways, it kind of reminds me of the kid line. What was it called when Murphy and
Jelena and Graves?
Yeah, and these guys aren't kids, but like they just kind of came together and at the right time, and they were massive in the playoff run.
Yeah, Rishaug's thinning hairline says third line for the Conn Smythe. They have been so good in this Stanley Cup Final. Can we discuss Steve Taylor's contribution to our Got Your Back stream tonight? Super fan Steve Taylor. Zuby, what did you make of that, Zuby? So out of the blue, 9:01 p.m., I guess just right after the game ended, out of the blue, Steve in the Got Your Back chat just fires this in. I love you all with all sorts of Oiler colored hearts. Like, simply Steve letting the emotion get the better of him. Real public display of emotion there in the chat group, Brownie. Have you ever met Steve?
Simply Steve or Simple Steve? I'm not sure which one we're going with right now. It touched my heart when I saw his little blue and orange hearts come through my phone. That was very nice of him.
That was awesome. Okay, let's get to Struddy's World, brought to you by Shipwreck Rum. Maybe he was into the shipwreck. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the ship shipwreck mango brings out the emotional side of Simply Steve.
I feel like that might have been meant for a different chat. That feels like maybe for a different chat. That was for Simply Steve's family. The Simply Steve family chat looks a lot like the same as the GYB logo.
I love you all. Just a proclamation of his love for us.
I'm kidding. Steve's just a loving guy. That's all.
I know. Yeah, we love him. Brindley family has been handcrafting the rum on the Caribbean island of St. Kitts for decades now. There's the music. Their shipwreck vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla. Gives it incredible smoothness. Take one sip, you'll agree. It's a vacation in a bottle. Get shipwrecked, Oiler fans, but do it responsibly. Have fun for Game 7. Struddy, let's do Struddy's World.
So in a nutshell, Brownie and I have been talking about everyone getting a role on this team and, using the whole bench. And, Chris Knobloch did that. He did that by the power play or the penalty kill, not the power play, but the penalty kill, giving people roles, making people feeling good, give them a chance, even if they had a bad game, give them another chance, maybe pop them out for the lineup, bring them back in. Now, I know there's a little bit of score effects in this, but there's a couple details tonight. One Oiler player played over 20 minutes tonight. Sorry, two, Ekholm and Bouchard. And then on the back or up front, you had the lowest guy was 8'10". The highest guy for forwards was just under, I want to say 18, somewhere in there. Where was he? 19-15, which is the big guy Nuge. So he spread out the minutes. Again, a little bit of score effects, but those two empty net goals weren't until pretty late. So everyone got to play. So this is a win where the big guys didn't have to be all world with scoring. Everyone contributed. You had scoring throughout the lineup, and the minutes were spread out. To me, this is probably ultimately what Chris Knobloch wanted to get to, and he did in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.
I think you're right, Struds. I think that this is, and again, it goes back to what we were just talking about. This is a team. It's not the back of two players. Connor and Leon have been great in the playoffs every year. They get it done, their part. But the Oilers didn't have other players that were good enough to get them to the next round, and they have that now. And this team, and you got to give credit to Ken Holland, the team he built. This isn't a team of all stars. It's a team, as you said, they got the stars up top, then they have other guys that fit into roles, and then you have a coach that was brought in that gave these role players belief in themselves and a job to do. And then those players went out and had the pride to come together and excel at their jobs. So this here is a true team, and Chris Knobloch coaches it like a true team, and they are now a team that is just one victory away from being the best team in the National Hockey League.
Well, it's an imperfect team, right? And I think Oiler fans suffered through the agony of that, understanding that the roster's not perfect. I mean, they got $5 million buried in the minors in Jack Campbell, right? Like they've got, Evander Kane not in the lineup right now. That's not a roster issue, but bottom line, it's like some sort of holes. And but if you think about the Skinner, I mean, they made the Matthias Ekholm like 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. The fans that wanted him gone were
so. Before the season started, same one victory away.
Great numbers on the stream. I guess we're having some legs, but quick break here, Zuby, and then Brownie and Struds will finish it off.
Yeah, I'm going to do a stop and start on. Bear with us here. This is it connects as I expect it will, and if
Florida. See you, boys.
So long. Okay, just hang tight here, guys. This is going to be some real behind the scenes.